This is the closest to real-life Jurassic World that we'll ever get. Before we begin today's review, I just wanted to give the biggest shout out ever to my two amigos, Ollie Pajak slash Mr. TARDIS 11 and Stephen Mead slash iQuadrZ5. I mean, you guys are the bestest friends I could ever ask for, and without you, the T-Rexcellent Saturday that we had yesterday would not have been possible.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another collaborative vlog review. I'm joined by Harry Thomas. Hi Harry. Hey guys. And we're going to see Jurassic World Dominion. So we will be back in about 2.5 to 3 hours, unless we get eaten by dinosaurs. Then we'll let you know what we think. So be right back. See ya.
Jurassic World Dominion, directed by Colin Trevorrow, who also directed the first Jurassic World and is the third and final installment in the Jurassic World trilogy, as well as the sixth installment in the final installment of the official Jurassic franchise. So Dominion tells the story taking place a few years after the events of Fallen Kingdom, after Maisie pushed the button releasing the dinosaurs into our world, which she was right to do so, because they are alive like us, and humans and dinosaurs over the years have come into conflict, but have now. A lot of them have been taken to this secluded place known as Bison, where the where the main antagonist from the first Jurassic Park is running it, and he wants Maisie to use her DNA to control these prehistoric locusts, and Maisie herself has formed a special bond with Blue's new daughter, Bessa. And Maisie's getting teenager rebellious, so she's disobeying her parents Claire and Owen and going out into the world. And when she and Bessa both get captured, it's up to not only Claire and Owen but also the original trio from the original Jurassic Park, Ellie, Alan, and Ian, to team up to not only get Macy and Bessa back, but also to save both the dinosaurs and humanity itself in the Jurassic movie to end all Jurassic movies. And after seeing this with two of my best friends for myself, I've got to say the critics are on freaking drugs to give this the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score of the Jurassic franchise. But haters smaters, I was always going to see and support Dominion no matter what, as the Jurassic World movies are beyond underrated, and actually feel like the Jurassic Park sequels we should have gotten in the first place, so we can forget that The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 are even canon. But as for Dominion, it is by a margin my favourite of the Jurassic World trilogy. This is a unspeakably underrated and tyranno-satisfying conclusion to one of the most underrated trilogies today, and I pray that this one makes it to $1 billion, just like the first two did, regardless of the unfairly negative and biased reviews. This really combines what you love about Jurassic World and Jurassic Park, with dinosaurs galore, some fan applauding moments, and even some emotion in there. Though this is not a perfect movie, and like all the other sequels, still fails to be on par with the 1993 original Jurassic Park. I don't think any sequel ever will be. This movie shares a similar flaw with the other Jurassic World movies in that they all have one unnecessary thing in them. In the first Jurassic World, it was Claire's nephews. In Fallen Kingdom, it was the dinosaur auction villains, and in Dominion, it's the locusts. Yep, these prehistoric locusts that are under the control of the villain. I mean, okay, I don't think anybody was commanding to see prehistoric locusts in a Jurassic Park movie. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if when the locusts turned up, the plague song from the Prince of Egypt that was playing, I sent the pestilence of plague into your house, into your best. If you're worried the locusts are going to ruin the movie for you, you can cast aside your worries. You needn't worry because they are not in the movie nearly as much as what you actually came to see, the dinosaurs. And I'm well aware this movie has been bashed for false advertising, how everybody predicted this would be a dinosaurs versus human movie about the dinosaurs in our world. Where it's just not as much in the movie as they expect. It's just not as much of a part of the narrative as everybody expects. But I'm totally okay with that, as the narrative was still epic and never bored me. And yes, the ending is more open ended than most finales, but that's all right. So, would you really have wanted a tragic ending? Would you wanted any of our favorite human or dinosaurs characters to die at the end? Of course not. So I'm glad that humans and dinosaurs were able to coexist and find a way to live together in peace. So nothing our heroes, who were inspired by John Hammond, set out to do in all the previous movies was wasted. It all actually had a payoff to it. I have a full bag of positives. Loved Maisie in this movie. If anything, she feels like the central protagonist this time and is even better than she was in Fallen Kingdom. I mean, she's as she's older, she's justifiably sick of being locked away from the rest of the world in her own home. She wants to, you know, get out and live her own life. And it did take her time to accept Claire and Owen as her parents, but she did by the end. And she has the most inspiring and beautiful moments in the film when she helps those guys rescue the Argentinosaurus and breaks Bessa Blue's daughter out of the lab all herself without anybody, and she's certainly going to be the future raptor trainer after her adopted father. And the twist that Charlotte, so the girl who Maisie was cloned after, was Maisie's mother all along. Whoa! Wow! What a wholesome twist. It certainly made the storyline of her being a clone in Fallen Kingdom make more sense. So thank you, Colin Trevorrow, and this movie uh, is uh, uh, is not trying to be too much of a course correction, which I applaud. It's even though Colin Trevorrow didn't direct Fallen Kingdom, he still respects what J.A. Bayona did in Fallen Kingdom, and uh, and Claire and Owen are the most badass that they have ever been here, and Claire especially gets some intense moments. So when she's running on the rooftops from the raptors in Malta, and her best moment is when she's keeping herself hidden from the Ferenziosaurus, the dinosaur with the huge claws. Claire is still the most underrated female character in the Jurassic franchise. She's gone from being a businesswoman in the first Jurassic World to a kick-ass heroine and now a mother. And it is a shame that Blue is not in Dominion much, as she only in the beginning and the end. But Owen's final goodbye to Blue was a poignant one. If you missed Owen riding on his motorcycle with raptors in Fallen Kingdom, you won't be let down here because the Malta chase scene with the raptors is the Bond fan in me was totally blown away by it. So that scene was literally Jurassic Bond, uh, and of course, seeing the trio of Jurassic Park protagonists all back together was a wish come true, and this was a better reunion than the reunion of the original trio in the Star Wars sequel trilogy because they actually all have scenes together and are not just brought in for a nostalgic throwback. They are literally main characters, just like the Jurassic World characters, and get equal screen time. Jeff Goldblum guessing the funniest lines, like, "Is that a dinosaur on your back?" And Ellie and Alan finally confessing their love for one another. And you know my favorite quote from the original Jurassic Park, "Women inherit the earth," that Ellie said. Well, that quote couldn't apply more to this movie because the women here are incredibly strong, including my favorite new character, Kayla, who flew Claire and Owen to Bison. She was so badass, and the new characters here were never annoying and served more purpose, unlike in Fallen Kingdom. And as for the villain, I know I've sounded like a broken record complaining about human villains in these movies, but he may be the most tolerable human villain. I didn't hate him, and he kind of looked like James Cameron just with glasses. And his demise was rather grisly, and the uh, movie may be one of the longer Jurassic movies. That's 2 hours 20 minutes, but it feels like the shortest. I couldn't find a single dull moment. So, I mean, it felt like it flew by faster than Jurassic Park 3, and that movie is far shorter. Now let's talk about the real stars of this movie, as they always are in this franchise, the Dinos uh, and Rexy, my favourites of the Dinos. I've got her right here, reigns supreme on her throne here once again as queen. Uh, I mean, sure, the shot of her roaring at the drive-in cinema in the trailer is not in the film, but the scene she does have awesomely showcase her badassery, and the dino villain of this movie, the Gigantosaurus, or as I like to call him, the Big Bad G. Sorry, Indominus Rex, but uh, but Gigantosaurus will have you for supper. This is the only Jurassic World movie without a hybrid dinosaur, and it does benefit from that. And the final dino fights are just when you are losing hope. How is Rexy going to beat a Gigantosaurus? But then Rexy pushes the Gigantosaurus right into the claws of the Ferenziosaurus that's pierced the Gigantosaurus's neck. That was epic as fuck. Most epic dino fight I've ever seen in all the Jurassic movies. Yeah, I mean, you smash that fight, Colin Trevorrow. And the visual effects have never looked more divine. We get more dinosaurs in this movie than we've ever seen before. It is dinosaur full, like the Parasaurolophus to the feathered raptor to the pteranodon that attacks the plane, and we even get three T Rexes in one of the final shots. That's triple the awesomeness, and Michael Giacchino's score, ever so satisfying as always. Overall, Jurassic World Dominion maybe the most underrated movie of the summer and the most underrated Jurassic movie. So please don't be put off seeing it by the critics. Jurassic Park 3 is far worse than. I give Jurassic World Dominion 4 stars out of 5. T-Rexcellent movie. And here's our initial reaction after just seeing the movie, the reaction of the Three Amigos Part 2.
Hello guys, we've just come out of seeing Jurassic World Dominion, and honestly, what are your thoughts? Yeah, while it may not be a perfect movie, it's still way, way better than the critics are saying. It's a underrated conclusion to the trilogy for sure. It may actually be the best just by a margin of reflection. I mean, and the dino fight at the end, no spoilers, is the best dino fight in the entire franchise, and it did have some emotion to it too. I mean, and it, no, without spoilers, it does leave things open-ended for guys to continue someday. I mean, there were one or two unnecessary things, but on the whole, this is far from the worst Jurassic Park movie, as everybody's saying, so pay no attention to the critics, you will have a T-Rexcellent time. Yeah, it was totally awesome, it was, unintended. Yeah, I kind of agree actually. It was a solid, very engaging conclusion. It was a very, I won't spoil it of course, but it was very entertaining. And for its runtime, it was 2.5 hours. It remained consistent. It didn't drag once. There's plenty of spectacle to keep it going. And you're right, there was some heart, there was some emotion. We won't go into the details. And I can't deny it. It's great to see all these characters back, human characters come back. And yes, there's plenty of dinos, some new ones. There's even new characters which are really good. For me, that was my only sort of criticism would be the ending is a bit too open. I think it needed a little bit more closure. And about the locusts, that's going to sound strange, but when you watch it, you'll understand. Yeah, the locusts were kind of unnecessary, but yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. It's not as bad as everyone's saying it is, so do go and give it a chance. And at the end of the day, you'll have a fun time. You'll have a really fun time. So yeah, thank you.
It was terrific.
Thank you to the guy behind the camera.
So another franchise has reached its end for now at least. But of course, Universal will continue the franchise someday for, as Mr. Krabs would put it, money. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on Dominion? Are you with me, Ollie, and Steven, and we'll come to this movie's defense, or are you with the critics? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Instagram, and I'll see you next time when I rank the Jurassic franchise. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.